I could be on. You want me to be on inside or
It
outside?
don't matter.
Okay.
All right, let's start out by saying Barakatah Yahweh, Ba'Hashem Yahushai, Ba'Hashem Ruach HaKodesh. Welcome to another live lesson. The name of this one is Out of the Devil's Own Mouth. I'm joined with the Elder Kanak.
Shalom.
And pretty much just listening to a video that Elder Pastor re-uploaded. I'm not sure the brother's name, but he was dealing with this individual, Tucker Carlson, that came to the camp years ago. And at the camp, when he came up to the camp asking questions, Elder Pastor, you know, as he was dialoguing with him, he asked him, "Hey, ain't you one of those newscaster guys or something like that?" And he said, No. He lied. He straight up lied. And he was doing the interview that the brother was, reacting to. And pretty much in the interview, he was, interviewing this individual. I don't know who it was because I was listening to the video. I wasn't really watching it. And pretty much the dude said that, justice is violence, or something along the line of violence against someone who does violence to the poor, or something along those lines, right? So when it comes to Esau defining things, they could define it how they want. They could get the justice that they want. But when it comes to the wicked shit that Esau did to us, beginning with, 1492, Christopher Columbus, them devils, the Spaniards that came over here, that conquered this side of the world. Then later on, they brought the Southern Kingdom into captivity and all the wicked shit they did. And after they so-called freed the slaves, you had the lynchings, and many other atrocities that were committed against the people of the Most High, the Israelites. But when we talk about justice, they call us a hate group, There's this thing I want to do a lesson on. I can't think of the name right now. It's a letter. I'm not sure if it's a bill that was passed. It's a letter. Lord's will, I could touch on it a little more later. Where Donald Trump drafted up this letter saying that that they're going to reform the American history, because they're pretty much, Esau's tired of getting called out for all the violence that they committed. Matter of fact, we can start, unless you got some.
No.
We can start off at Isaiah 33:1. They're tired of all the, the negative publicity that Esau's getting today because of the wicked shit that they did in the past. So, they're tired of it. So what Trump is trying to do, which Sarah Palin tried to do back in the days, I forgot what that group that she was a part of was called. It was another party. But they're trying to erase pretty much history, the bad history that makes America look bad, and keep only the history that shows them in a good light.
Yep.
This is no different than mini caps. Their protocols that learn Elders of Zion, protocol number 16, where it states that they will erase all history that shows them in a negative light and only keep those things that make them look good.
Yeah, because history, Esau's vile history, can tie them directly back to the biblical Edomites.
Beautiful.
And that's really, on the spiritual level, that's really what it is. It's because everybody can be identified by the things that they had done on the earth. That's the identification.
Yep.
And Esau, in his history, he ties directly back to the biblical Edomites, and he can't have that.
That's it.
Because his narrative it caves in on itself.
Yep.
That he's a just man.
Yeah, and then that he lives by the sword, and it's undeniable. Like if you was to take a survey as to the people on the earth that live by their sword, the majority, the scale will be tipped in Esau's favor.
Oh, if Apostle, if I say this,
yes, sir.
I was asking chat. I did a lesson. I was asking chat basically. I think I might have told you a while back. Basically, who would be the wicked according to the Bible? And I gave it different questions, and it was running away from me. But based upon history and based upon colonization, okay, and destroying of many nations, it had to, I backed into a corner and it had to say, yeah, the so-called white man is the devil.
Yeah.
You know, if there was a devil in the Bible, if the wicked, according to the precepts, he would have to be that just by his history.
Yeah.
It's undeniable. You can't deny it.
He fits all the characteristics. This is why, you know, we're not concerned about, you know, a question of this letter and this word and this, you know, we're not concerned with that. We're concerned with prophecy, history, because the prophecy, you know, directs, and it's not, because, you know, you have some individuals that say that Esau, you know, now Esau or the Edomites are symbolic for any wicked Gentile nation. No, when you read the scriptures and it speaks about the Edomites, it's talking about the Edomites. It's not used symbolically, like in the case of America today. America is spiritually known as Sodom and spiritually known as Egypt, you know. But when it speaks about Esau, it's talking about the actual people of Edom, the actual descendants of the biblical Edomites.
Yep.
It's not talking about symbolically, you know.
Isaiah 33:1, woe to thee that spoilest, and thou was not spoiled.
Right, and what does the word spoil mean? The word spoil means to rob. So when you look at the people of the planet, who are the greatest robbers of history, of resources, of lands, you know, inheritances on the planet Earth? And you will have to come to the conclusion that it's the Edomites, the so-called white people, because they're the ones that are in power. They're the ones that have caused all this grief, you know, through their colonization, you know, through pushing their agenda and their, you know, ideals and their greed, you know, on the people, to oppress the people so that they could take the people's resources, so that the people that can be rich on their own land have to come to them for their own shit. Ain't that some shit?
Yep.
Like Haiti. Haiti's supposed to be like a really rich, it's not supposed to be, it's a really rich, you know, island with all type of minerals, resources and all that. But these devils done fucked it up so much and took over the shit that the people that live there, whose land it belongs to, you know, are poor.
Yeah, and the Bible says that there will be a nation that will do that.
Yep.
And that's how they will live, you know.
That's it. And we're going to go to that too, Lord, well, after this.
Gone. It says, and dealest treacherously, and they dealt not treacherously with thee.
Yeah, and that's what you've done, man. You've done, I mean, not only have you been, you know, wicked, have you spoiled people, but you, I mean, you, like the scripture you always quote, they beat the people with a continual stroke. It's like a non-stop thing, you know, one thing after another, and even when you comply with them, that's why it says that they that consent unto them shall be had in derision. Even when you comply with them and try to work with them, they still fuck you over.
It says, when thou shalt cease to spoil, thou shalt be spoiled.
Right, man. And when will they cease to spoil? They're going to cease to spoil when the new world order is established, when this whole digital infrastructure is in place, when the scriptures say when they're about to fill their belly, you know, because they're going to start eating, but it's like, you know, you're starving and you finally got your plate of food and you take that first bite and then something happens so where the plate falls on the floor.
Oh, man, you hurt.
You know? So that's how it's going to be for Esau.
Yeah, you've been waiting all day. You didn't eat nothing all day.
Yep.
Or maybe you even came off like a 3-day fast.
Woo.
And this is your first meal. Yep. You know, you take that you smell it too. You know, you smell it. The bitter. You know, the juices start to get moving. You take a little first bite. You start chewing it, and then the plate gets slapped out of your hand.
Yep.
And you get hit in the stomach, and you vomit it up.
That's it.
That's basically what's getting ready to happen to Esau, Edom, and it's NW to the O.
That's it.
Okay.
That's it.
It says, when thou shalt cease to spoil, thou shalt be spoiled. And when thou shalt make an end to deal treacherously, they shall deal treacherously with thee.
Right. So when you come to that end, to the point that, you know, you've done enough, you got everything, you got the people in power, you got the people under your control, you know, you don't need to do anything else but just sit back and enjoy the fruits of your demonic labor. That's when the Lord's going to slap the joystick out of your hand, the remote control out of your hand, like Elder Yashwamba always says, you know. So let's go from there to Genesis 27:38. You know, because there is a people, and then from there we could go to Revelation 6. There's a people on the planet Earth that are known as the Edomites. When you go into the history,
You said Revelation afterward?
yeah, Revelation 6.
Okay, Revelation.
Then there's a people on the planet Earth, right, that fit all of these prophecies in the scriptures. You know, they are, you know, they have been robbing, stealing, same word. You know, they've been oppressing the people, right? And we're coming to that point now to where they're being revealed, because the Lord said before this devil goes down, the first part of their going down would be the revelation
Yeah.
of them. Then after they're revealed, then the judgment will come. So right now we're at the final stages of the sentencing stage. You know, they're being sentenced as to what's going to happen, and then they're being sentenced. It's just like, you know, somebody steals a candy, Jake steals a candy bar, right? And then when the judge hits him with 50 years, and then, you know, the horrific look on his face, you know, well, that's how Esau is gonna be when they find out their judgment. Now the difference is that you judge Jake for little petty crimes and give him a whole lot of time. You've been doing all kind of wickedness, and you haven't paid for your crimes because you acquit yourself, but the Lord ain't gonna acquit you.
Yep, this is Genesis 27, and that's another reason why he doesn't want us to speak this gospel.
Yep,
because our message is that he's not going to be acquitted.
that's it.
When you have these truthers and these individuals that bring out things about the NW to the O and the elites, the so-called illuminated ones, there's never a message of them actually, paying for the things that they have done.
Yep.
You know, they always get off scot-free.
Yep. They always try to find loopholes.
That's it. There's always a loophole. You know, there's no message of them actually being punished.
Right.
The message of the truth, the real truth from the Hebrew Israelites is that the Edomites are going to be punished for all the crimes against humanity.
Yep.
Okay, against the blasphemy of the Most High, His Son, the holy angels, the Israelites. Okay.
Yeah, it's a locket for all that, you know, hacking and coughing stuff up.
Genesis 27. Well, hey, walking is a form of detoxification. Genesis 27:38. And Esau said unto his father.
Now, for those of you that don't know, you have two sons, twins, fraternal twins, meaning they don't look identical, Jacob and Esau. Esau's the firstborn, Jacob came up after. So in process of time when the boys grew, you know, Esau was a mighty hunter and Jacob was a plain man living in tents. And Esau went hunting and he didn't find anything. So when he got back home, he was starving. So Jacob was cooking, you know, some food, and he asked him for food, and Jacob said, "Look, want you know, sell me your birthright, you know, and I'll give you some food." So he did sell the birthright. Then later on, he supplanted him for his blessing. So this is at the point now where he got taken for his birthright, and he got taken for his blessing. So he's upset. So he's asking Isaac to give him a blessing. Can you bless me with something? Give me some kind of blessing. Go ahead.
Yeah, Genesis 27:38. And Esau said unto his father, "Hast thou but one blessing, my father?
Woo!
Bless me, even me also, O my father." And Esau lifted up his voice and wept. And Isaac, his father, answered and said unto him, "Behold, thy dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth."
Right. So who has the fatness of the earth? Who lives in the best parts of the earth? Who lives, you know, in the when you driving down a neighborhood, you know when you in the hood and when you in Esau's neighborhood.
Oh yeah.
There's no mistake in that.
Yeah.
You know, you can't say you ride in this nice neighborhood, oh, you know, this is the hood right here. No. You know, you could be driving down a nice street, trees everywhere, nice homes, manicured lawns and all that. Then when you cross a certain street 10 blocks later, you know when you're in the hood, trash everywhere.
Yeah. Destitute.
It looks dark.
Yeah. I was just about to say that.
You know, there's like a grimy element that comes attached to it.
Yeah.
You know?
There's no landscaping. There's no trees. There's no... Oh, you see fast food and liquor stores and smoke shops.
Toxic.
You know? Yeah, potholes
Yep.
everywhere. You know, abandoned buildings.
There
You
go.
know, Jake all strung out.
Yep.
So it's clear. You can definitely see there's a separation between the rich and the poor.
Yeah, and that's the fatness of the earth. Remember the parable that Yahushua spoke about Lazarus and the rich man. He said, you know, that the rich man fared sumptuously every day. So you were living it up. You were living good. And you still, to this day, you know, even the middle class that's catching hell, they were living it up for a good long period of time. But now we're at the point where you're decaying. Because remember, as we coming up, Esau and the nations are going down. And the curses are going to be, you know, turned from us onto them.
Yeah. Just like the kingdom will be transferred to the Israelites, the curses will be transferred to the other nations, starting with Esau.
That's it.
Okay?
That's it.
It says, and Isaac his father answered and said unto him, behold, thy dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth, and of the dew of heaven from above. And by thy sword shalt thou live.
And by thy sword shalt thou live. And that's how they got the fatness of the earth, is by their sword. You know, and this is why the greatest militaries out there, or who? First and foremost, America, you know, NATO, which are all Edomite nations. You know, pretty all of these nations, they got all this weaponry, you know, and they know how to use it. You know, it ain't like they're dummies in using it. They know how to use it. They know how to, you know, how to aim and shoot and hit their target.
Yeah.
Not like Jake. You know, Jake get him a strap or whatever the case is, and they don't know how to even use it.
Well, you know, like Jake, when you look at sports and entertainment, how our people they far excel all the other nations.
Yep.
It's like a God-given ability, you know, like they didn't have to practice or anything like that.
Yep.
They just was good at it. Now, Esau, when it comes to the sword, when it comes to weapon, when it comes to killing, destroying, he has a blessing. He has that God-given talent.
Yeah.
It's like he doesn't have to, like, you know, it's
effortless.
Innate. It's effortless.
Yeah.
He loves it, and he loves it.
Oh yeah.
You know, like Jake like playing basketball. You'll see Jake just walking around, just dribbling the ball because he just loves to hoop. Esau, he got guns. He's cleaning them. He's shooting targets. He's making bow, and you know, he's to the point to where they develop nuclear missiles.
Yep.
You know,
and you got to remember that the development of them nuclear missiles, that wasn't something that just one day they woke up, oh, you know what, we're gonna make a nuclear missile and just made it. We got the money, let's make it. No, that was an arduous task. It was very tedious. You know, the scientists had to come together. They had to build up this community out in Los Alamos. You know, and then when they built that community, the scientists had to sit there painstakingly, you know, test all this shit, you know, find out how to separate atoms and how to separate the neutrons and electrons and all this stuff to finally get this fusion together to create this explosion. But then on top of that, they also had to figure out a way to transport it, to get it from point A to point B. You see? So that took a long time. Yeah. So the thing about it, these devils, the blessing that they got, they had to work for it. And they have a passion towards their craft. They have a passion, just like the elder was speaking about. Jake has a passion for sports. They have a passion for shooting. They have a passion for hunting, because that's in their nature. That's a part of their makeup.
Yeah. And before they even was able to develop these nuclear missiles, it had to come from somebody's mind.
Yep.
So what's in their mind is how to destroy.
Yep.
It's how to kill.
Yep.
Then their imagination, they were given power to actually manifest it.
Yeah.
Okay, but the wicked imaginations of the wicked, they have all different types of things, you know, in their mind that is geared towards destroying people, destroying nations, starting with the Israelites.
Yeah, and Robert J. Oppenheimer, I believe it was Robert J. Oppenheimer, you know, the Lord was plaguing them with visions of destruction and all of that. You know, and you know, they accomplished a diligent search.
Yes. Where is that at? I was
that's Psalm 64.
60. Okay, I was just right there. Okay.
Yeah, Psalm 64, like around 6 or 8 or something like that.
I literally was right there. Okay.
You know?
I want to just bring that out because when you were speaking, that came to my mind.
Yep.
You know, because that's what's in, you know, Esau's mind. You know, Jake, what's in his mind, like, I want to get some good food. You know, I want to chill.
Yeah,
Really get with my woman.
That's it.
You know what I mean? I want to, you know, maybe we, you know, get the family together, get a barbecue.
There you go.
You know, Esau, his mind is like, yeah, how can I destroy a whole bunch of people?
Yeah.
You know, how can I do this? How can I, you know, make people suffer?
He can't sleep.
I was just about to say that. Yep.
No, you got it. No,
yeah,
finish.
yeah. No, I was just about to say that they can't sleep. At least they have caused some to fall.
That's it.
They drink the wine of wickedness and the bread of affliction. I forget. It's in the same chapter. But their whole mind is geared towards wickedness. That's like it. Us coming back to the truth, our whole mind is geared towards what? Righteousness.
That's it.
How to please the Heavenly Father. He's the direct opposite.
Yeah.
Two manner of people shall be separated.
There you go.
And this is playing out right now between Jacob and Esau, the righteous against the wicked.
The good is set against evil, and life against death. You got it.
Yeah, and this is why he wants this word to be taken off from the earth, because he's being tied back to the biblical Edomites.
There you go. And that's why they want to change the history, because they want, because as each generation comes and goes, you know, the next generation is more and more dumb concerning things that happened in the past. So the older generation keeps that alive, you know, keeps, you know, the wicked shit that these devils have done. And all of these different monuments and things that they have in the history books also remind people of the wicked shit that these devils did. But these devils here with Trump, they're trying to erase all of that history because they want to make America white again. It ain't about making America great again. When America was great to Esau was when Esau was on top and he had everybody in slavery pretty much.
Yeah, but the thing is, he's exposed himself. He's the one who came out and spoke about what he wants to do. He made movies about putting Jake in slavery. He wrote it in books. He was proud about it.
Right.
You know, he didn't think that he was going to go down. See, he didn't consider his latter end.
There you go.
Okay, this is Psalm 64. This is spirit, because I was going to do the lesson based upon we're kind of like we're kind of going
talking
into
about
right now.
Oh, hey, well, you know this is a nice catapult.
That's it. Psalm 64. I'm gonna start at 2. This is the precept that was coming in my mind when I was watching the Bishop Inop's video of how you know, basically Esau, he wants to depopulate the earth.
Yeah.
You know, the culling. You know, but this is his wicked imagination that he has in his mind of what he believes his future is going to be. Okay. This is Psalm 64.
You had no clue what your future is going to be like.
That's it. That's it. Psalm 64:2. Hide me from the secret counsel of the wicked, from the insurrection of the workers of iniquity.
Right, and that's Esau's and their secret council, that cabal or the oligarchy of evil, as Anthony J. Hilder used to call it. You know, that's their secret councils that they have. And you know, I perceive that them devils, they're not really into a lot in those councils a lot. They have a lot of flunkies underneath them, set up all these meetings. They just give the orders, you know, because they're far above all of that shit. And their circle is very tight, very knit together. They don't hang around everyone. They don't go to public places like Jake goes and hang out and, you know, drink, you know, beers and shots and wine and all that shit. Go to clubs, you know, and they can't dance anyway, but they don't do all that shit. They do the total opposite.
Yeah, their mind is geared towards bringing in this NW to the O.
Yeah.
That's what they're laboring towards.
All day long, that's all they think about.
That's all that's on their mind.
Yeah.
You know, like all that's on our mind is like, okay, how do we do the work? How can we do videos? What inspiration I can get, you know, to do more work? Their mind is to do more work for Satan.
That's it.
You know, verse 3, who whet their tongue like a sword, even bend their bows to shoot their arrows, even bitter words.
Yep.
And again, Esau's blessing was a sword, and that's manifested in many different ways outside of just an actual killing instrument.
Yeah.
His words as well.
Yep.
He uses his mouth as a weapon, you know, to destroy people.
Yeah. Because the Lord's words are a weapon. You know, that's why the Apostle Paul spoke about it as armor. You know, the Lord's word is a hammer. The Lord's word is fire. You know, and what it does, it cuts even asunder to the bone and marrow. It's a discerner of the thoughts and intents of the heart. So Esau uses words as a weapon also.
That's it. It says that they may shoot in secret at the perfect.
Yep. And that's their secret counsels.
Suddenly do they shoot at him and fear not.
And then all this stuff that happened with the EBT, they already knew they were going to do that. You know, with the EBT and the step, they already knew they were going to do that, just to see the reaction of the people. But these people out here, they didn't know what was going on.
Yeah.
All they know is that I'm not going to get my benefits, you know, because they want to put the people in a heightened state of what's the word I'm
Fear,
looking for?
anxiety.
Fear, anxiety. Yeah, those are all good. Desperation.
Yeah.
Because desperation and fear and all that, you know, motivates people to do something so that they can get out of that situation.
Right. Just like the Egyptians, right? When you had the famine, you know, they had the fear and desperation of not eating.
Right.
You know, so they sold themselves and their property to be unto Pharaoh.
Yep.
Because they were in a desperate situation.
Yeah.
You know.
They told Joseph, "We're not going to hide it from my Lord that we don't have any more money. We don't have, you know, we gave you our lands. We need some food."
Yeah. And that playbook is going to be ran right again.
Yeah.
With the wicked elite, manufactured famines, just like the EBT. That was a manufactured famine.
Food as a weapon.
That's it. Okay, because their whole mind is geared towards war.
Yep.
Okay, a weapon, how to destroy, not how to build and love and, you know, and heal.
Yep.
They're the direct opposite.
That's it.
Okay, it says they encourage themselves in an evil matter. They commune of laying snares privately. They say, who shall see them? They search out iniquities. They accomplish a diligent search.
So all these things that these devils been putting together is to accomplish a diligent search. They have left no stone unturned. Any possible way that they could have done it, they've researched it. They've tested it. The only thing they didn't consider was their latter end.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. If they only knew, you know, what shows you that the Most High controls everything and he put a reprobate spirit on them. Because if he actually knew what was his latter end, and he knew that, okay, if the Israelites come up and start speaking and prophesying, that's my end, he would have been destroyed it. But he tried, but he can't. That's the thing. He's really actually not in control. These people, they give Esau a little bit too much credit, the wicked elite. They're not in control.
No.
The heart of the king is in the hands of the Lord.
Woo, that's it.
Okay? So that's it. Proverbs 21:1. Okay? So really it's Yahweh Shema Shai that's in control. Okay?
That's it.
He doesn't have power. You got to understand that going into this hour of temptation. Esau doesn't have power over life and death.
That's it.
It's Yahweh Shema Shai. And he doesn't want you Israelites to know that. He doesn't want you to know that there's another alternative.
Yeah. Well, a sparrow doesn't fall to the ground unless it's sanctioned by the Heavenly Father. So
he banks off of your ignorance.
Yep.
He banks off of you not knowing. Like, for example, herbs.
And that's why he keeps you, you know, entertained with bread and circuses.
That's it. Just like herbs. If you knew about the healing properties of herbs, and of course, that's why he tried to keep the name away as well.
Right.
And he'll pay off particular Israelites to change the doctrine because he knows that's the foundation of our power.
That's the solution.
That's the solution. That solves everything. The name of Yahweh Shema Shai and the belief in those names. Okay, that's where our power is. And he doesn't want you Israelites to know where your power is. So that's why he causes so much distractions. Okay, and he pays people off. And you got Jake that would, you know, sell out for it dirt cheap.
You could buy a nigga cheap.
You know, it says they encourage themselves in an evil matter. They commune of laying snares privily. They say, I read that. They search out iniquities. They accomplish a diligent search. Both the inward thought of every one of them. Well, I thought some of them can make it. Right? It says, and the heart is deep.
Yep.
But the Most High shall shoot at them with an arrow.
Yeah, so being that their thoughts are deep, mean that they only give you surface stuff. They don't really tell you what their innermost passions are for the future. They only give you just enough to make you think that you're going to do good, that things are going to be better. That's why they'll tell you, you shall own nothing and be happy, and give you UBI. You have everything. You'll be set up. You know, you won't have to worry about working and all that. But they don't tell you that comes with a lot of restrictions. It comes with having a device implanted into you. They don't tell you all of that. And what do you think the majority of these people are going to do? They don't. They're fat, lazy, out of shape. So they want things easy. They don't want things. They don't want to do anything. They want to keep living the miserable life that they've been living. So they're gonna accept this new, this new system that they got coming in place. You know, you got it.
It says, suddenly they shall be wounded, so they shall make their own tongue to fall upon themselves.
Yeah, and even some of them have come out and pretty much, revealed the inner workings of the so-called Illuminati, the international banking families, from their playbook. Dr. Carroll Quigley was one of them. He was allowed to examine their books, I think, for 20 years. And he wrote a book, Tragedy and Hope, 1,000+ pages long. And he said the only aversion that he had to it, he had no problem with the plans. The only thing that he had a problem with is that they wanted to remain secret. And even David Rockefeller, thanked all these different magazines, New York Times and Time Magazine, all these different magazines, for keeping their plans a secret until a certain period of time. He said, because if it wasn't for that, we wouldn't have been able to get our agenda, up and going, or something along those lines. But now that that everything is in place, pretty much, they don't need secrecy anymore. This is why they won't come after an individual that's speaking about their international bankers and their plans as much as they would have back in the days. You dig?
It says, so shall they make their own tongue to fall upon themselves. All that see them shall flee away.
Yep.
And like you said, that now it's not really a big secret. They won't come after people like they used to in the past. But that's really, you should have kept that same energy, because that's a snare unto you now.
Oh yeah.
All right, because really, it's really the prophets, because we can bring out all that information, but we can tie you back to who you really are.
Edom.
And that's Edom.
Yeah.
And there's particular prophecies based upon, particular prophecies in the scriptures that tell you what's getting ready to happen to Edom.
Yeah, and you can't get away from the fact that the scriptures speak about the Edomites being around in the end times when Yahushua comes back. And this is why these devils are trying to say, well, yeah, that's symbolically for the Gentile nations that are wicked. No, it's talking about the actual Edomites that are going to be actually here. That's why it says Esau is the end of the world and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. So if Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth, the head over Jacob beneath Yahweh is Yahushua. That's why he's coming to take you down. Because you right now, you're the king of the hill, king of the mountain. So Yahushua is coming to take you off that hill and off that mountain and you nations and be established on the throne himself. You just keeping it warm for him. And you haven't been doing a good job. You got the earth all fucked up. You ain't doing no good job.
That was it on that. You want me to go back to Genesis?
I know, let's go to Revelation. Yeah.
6?
We made the point in Genesis about, the blessing that they got was the sword. That you're going to live by your sword, pretty much. That's how you got the fatness of the earth. And this is what we were discussing. That you got the fatness of the earth through, your military, pretty much, because your sword represents your military. And this is why you are experts, in, how's it going? This is why you are experts, how you doing, man? This is why you're experts at fucking fake.
Yeah, he was a fucking mo.
Yeah. This is why you're experts, in your craft, which is your weaponry. And you've been able to conquer the world, because when they dropped their bomb on Hiroshima and Nagasaki, that shook the world. Everybody was afraid of America at that point, and then Russia even had to put everything on pause and use all of their resources and their energy to build up their military, because they said, oh no, this is a problem. That really changed the dynamic of war at that point. So all these different nations had to build up, so they were playing along with Esau because they were nervous because of that hegemony. They were the bully on the block, right? Now that these nations got this technology and this military and this weaponry, this arsenal, they're not afraid of America like they used to be. And this is why America is losing their grip, because we're coming to the end.
Quick precept?
Yes, sir. They losing that lackluster.
Yeah, just basically going back what you were saying, like
if I said that correctly.
when Esau dropped those bombs, the nations, you know, they pretty much had to let They pretty much had to lay low and be like, okay, whoa, we gotta revamp. We gotta play the game. We gotta be nice. Meanwhile, they were plotting against you. Obadiah verse 7.
The whole time.
The whole time. All the men of thy and the scriptures back it up.
And the scriptures don't lie.
All the men of thy confederacy have brought thee even to the border. The men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee.
Yeah, pretty much. The fuck out of here. Get out my land. Yankee, go home. Get out my land.
And prevailed against thee. They that eat thy bread have laid a wound under thee.
Yeah, because they already been, because they know how you operate. So they've been looking for ways to get you back, pretty much.
It says, and prevailed against thee, they that eat thy bread have laid a wound under thee, there is none understanding in him. Shall I not in that day, said the Lord, even destroy the wise men out of Edom?
Right.
And the understanding out of the mount of Esau.
Right. The wise men out of Edom will represent the modern day Chaldeans, the modern day magicians from Egypt. You know, you had every empire that ruled, the pharaohs or the kings or whatever the case, they had a group of wise men, magi, you know, magicians and all of that, that would help sorcerers, witches, warlocks, that would help govern their kingdom.
Yeah.
And whenever they came up a problem that the king wasn't sure about, he would consult the wise men. So today you have a group of individuals also that are considered the wise men of Edom, that are considered the modern day Chaldeans or the modern day magicians from like ancient Egypt and so on and so forth. And they're coming up short with their, you know, with their solutions on how to fix all of these problems, because the solutions, you know, they can't find a solution because the Most High is plaguing this place. This place is falling apart. Why? Because it's time for this place to go down. And these are the evidence signs or tokens that this place is ready to get out, go out. You know, the decay of America, you know, which had power and control and sway over the whole earth. And when she's destroyed, guess what? It's going to say, how is the hammer of the whole earth broken? Because you've been beating people down for so long. You thought you would never get caught. You thought you'd never go out. Like in the movie Platoon, Sergeant Barnes, no, not Barnes, Elias, you know, he said that. He said, man, we've been kicking ass for so long. It's, you know, it's about time we got our ass kicked or something along those lines. You know, and it's true. You don't have the power that you once had. You're on the downward spiral, circling the drain.
Revelation 6.
Yep.
Where do you want me to start?
Verse 3,
Yeah.
and then we'll read those 2 verses, and then we can end it on that.
This is Revelation 6 and 3. And when he had opened the second seal, I heard the second beast say, come and see. And there went out another horse that was red.
Right, and the horse represents power. Red is symbolic for Esau. You know, the red people. Go ahead.
And power was given to him that sat thereon to take peace from the earth.
So when you look at the earth, what nation is the one that took peace from the earth? Because the earth was peaceful until the time that these devils started to emerge through the Renaissance and started to take things. I mean, you know, you had wars, you know, you had fights, and you know, you had different turmoils, but not on the scale that you have today. Because for the, what is it, almost 250 years America's been in power, you know, the majority of that time they spent in wars, either at a particular war or starting some shit. They said they need to keep it at home. Go ahead.
It says, and power was given to him that sat thereon to take peace from the earth, and that they should kill one another.
Right, that's going into your civil war. Go ahead.
And there was given unto him a great sword.
And that great sword goes all the way back to the blessing that was given to Esau by Isaac. And they have carried that sword all the way up until today. Not only did they carry that, but also that mighty hunter spirit. You know, when you go to these different hunting magazines and all that, what do you see? You see Edomites.
Yeah.
You know, that's a part of their blessing.
You got actual channels dedicated to hunting. Hunting and fishing. And they come up with all these elaborate ways of how to catch the prey.
They're cunning.
That's it. The serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field.
There you go.
The Lord gave him that spirit, that cunning spirit, you know.
That's it.
Verse 4. Yep. Oh, I read 4.
Okay.
Yeah.
Read it again. That was the
God.
last verse, right?
Yeah, that was 3
Right.
and 4.
Let's read it again.
God, this is Revelation 6 and 3. And when he had opened the second seal, I heard the second beast say, "Come and see." And there went out another horse that was red,
Go ahead.
and power was given to him that sat thereon to take peace from the earth,
Mm-hmm.
and that they should kill one another. And there was given unto him a great sword.
Right, and that great sword represents their military power. You know, the ability to, because no one can wield the weapon like Esau. You know, they got that. When it comes to shooting, when it comes to aiming, when it comes to that particular part of the craft, they got that down packed. You know, Jake really, I mean, if Jake get into it, they'll get into it, but Esau, that's his blessing. Jake's blessing is just to be the salt of the earth. Anything they put their hands on, they could achieve. But Esau's blessing is, you know, is the sword, the weapons, outside of deception.
Yeah.
You know, so you're trying to hide, you know, your shameful past by erasing it, taking stuff down, removing portraits, removing history out of the books, removing statues. But it's not gonna. It doesn't matter. The damage is already done, because we're at the end. It would take you too long to erase all of that stuff to finally get it out of the minds of the people, and there's still going to be remnants of it, you know, out there, even if you were to accomplish that. And you're trying to hide because you're ashamed of your history and you're tired of being called out for it. But you're going to be called out for it until Yahweh Bashem Yahushai destroys you. You got anything else?
That's it.
So with that, we pray that you brothers and few sisters have been edified. Till the next time we say, Shalom.
Shalom.